Take the victory of Dr. Abdul El-Sayed in the Democratic primary for a key Senate race in Michigan, a physician and former Detroit health official who won the Democratic nomination despite tens of millions of dollars being spent against him. His victory, not simply a rejection of the Democratic establishment, it was also a rejection of much of the party's traditional approach to Israel and Gaza.
We took on a machine. You're not supposed to be able to beat $70 million of outside spending. A record amount of money spent in a campaign against a Democrat in a primary in any campaign. You're not supposed to be able to beat that. And what we showed is that the power of our many is greater than the power of their money. What we showed is that if you're willing to build a movement brick by brick, if you're willing to go and travel your state and have the conversations in rooms big and small, starting in moments when people aren't even paying attention to an election, but are paying attention to the price of gas and the price of groceries and the price of housing and the price of healthcare, that you can build a conversation that builds into a movement that defeats Goliath.
El-Sayed's progressive stances also included calling for an end to U.S. military support for Israel, as he now heads into a general election against the Republican this November in a key swing state that voted for President Donald Trump twice.
El-Sayed is way more prepared than other left candidates. That is, he sort of has started pivoting early, making sure that to have it known that he's not a socialist, that he is a capitalist who wants reform, that he's reaching out to people who are in the DSA just as much as he's reaching out to people who are Trump voters, and that, you know, he wants to assemble as broad of a coalition as possible. He's not, you know, changing a whole bunch of policy positions, but he also isn't, isn't portraying himself as a candidate of the left. So he's ready for that. There also are fears that, a Muslim candidate will still face a bias from voters, and there is research to support that. And so they've already gone out of their way to start dealing with that. They have an ad where his grandparents talk about, where is El-Sayed from? People keep asking us, he's from right here, and, you know, talking about him growing up in Michigan. So the campaign is prepared to make that transition, but, you know, the Democratic Party as a whole is going to have to go along with this plan that wasn't theirs.
Overnight in Wisconsin, another key swing state in presidential elections, Democratic Socialist Francesca Hong came remarkably close to winning the Democratic nomination for governor, losing to the establishment-backed Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley by only a few thousand votes. Paying close attention is the Republican Party and President Trump that describes such progressive candidates as radical and dangerous, going as far as to label El-Sayed a communist.
This guy hates Jews. Somebody said, oh, that's a little strong. No, he hates Jews and he hates Israel. Abdul El-Sayed. Can you believe this? This could only happen to me. Abdul El-Sayed, lovely gentleman. He's a man of hate. And now he's going around saying, no, I love everybody. He doesn't love everybody. Put him in office. You're going to find out what he loves.
The Michigan Democrats' response:
to all of my sisters and brothers of the Jewish faith, or any faith at all, or no faith at all, I want you to know that my commitment to your safety, my commitment to Jewish safety, is the same commitment that I have to the safety of my own daughters.
Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson posting this on social media, that Republicans were ready for the fight to protect the greatest country in the history of the world from being taken over by America-hating mini Mamdanis, while reposting a message from the White House saying America would never be a communist country. This is already a heated midterm election campaign where control of both houses of Congress is at stake. Republicans are trying to portray the Democratic Socialist movement as extreme, while progressive Democrats argue that the attacks, particularly against Muslim candidates who are outspoken on Gaza, can cross into Islamophobic territory. The question heading into the midterms is no longer whether Democratic Socialists can win Democratic primaries in swing states. They can. The bigger question is whether they can take that insurgent energy into a general election where the electorate is a little bit more split down the middle. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.